Awesome. How awesome. Thank you, Jesse, Lacey, Michael, Brian, Rena. Awesome. As you've heard me say many times, we rock your center. Well, you're new. My name is Reverend Keith Horwitz. I would like to welcome you to Soul Center OC. We are part of the Agape Association of Communities, which means that we participate in awareness-inducing activities, as we talked about last week, which awareness-inducing activities are moving into the field of an unbroken awareness of the divine as expressed in all of the mystical teachings of all of the religions, as you often heard me speak about the golden thread that is transdenominational. It is transdenominational, meaning that golden thread is in every aspect of all religions, in the mystical teachings. And those mystical teachings bring forward the truth that sets us free. We're going to get to that in a moment. But before we do, we have a couple things to take care of. We're going to welcome our new people. And we're also going to take a moment to celebrate a celebration that a little bird told me that Mike and Birgit are now Mr. and Mrs. Mike and Birgit. Our newlyweds. We're going to stand up in a moment because we're going to bless you, of course. It warmed my heart when two people who are just so brilliant and so meant to be together. I remember when you were at another couple's wedding that was just so brilliant and so meant to be together, Caroline and Jeff. And it was just like, okay, well, it's only a matter of time before these two get hitched. Oh, yeah? Oh, I didn't know you got the bouquet. Well, so, we're going to take a moment. Bless you guys. We're going to bless the microphone and the sound system as well. So I'm just going to invite everybody, as we do here, one of the ways we extend our blessings is through prayer and through our hands. We extend our heart through our hands. And this is the part where I'm going to ask you both to stand up. And as you do stand up, I'm also going to invite you. You are in a place of divine receptivity. Your only job is to receive the blessings, to be blessed. So we take this moment and we say, Birgit and Mike, we love you. We are divine ambassadors of the Most High. We take our God-ordained gift of blessing, and we bless you with love and joy, harmony and grace, prosperity and success, and mutual beneficial, reverence and respect, and absolute fun and joy. We ask that you receive it, and so it is. Amen. Oh, you guys can do a little hot if you like. Put you on the spot. Another way to seal the deal. So again, welcome to Soul Center. If you're new to our community, I again welcome you to our community. Again, we teach, our teachings are based in the golden thread of truth teachings, the truth teachings that set us free. And we also know that in these truth teachings, if you look into the Hebrew Bible, we are into the way that the universe, the way that life works. It works through the law, it is highlighted profoundly in the Mosaic teachings of Moses. Moses bringing forward the interworkings and the mechanics of the laws that govern the universe, and then highlighted in the Christian Bible by Jesus, the master teacher, are the teachings of the love. The law and the love are what govern the universe. And when you come into an incarnated state called the human experience, our job is to navigate through the law and the love and to have an understanding of how those things work. And that's what we do in our community, because everybody on the planet is on a journey to wholeness. We are all on a journey to wholeness. It's one way of saying that we are becoming enlightened. There's another way of saying that we are stepping into our mastery. Everybody's on that journey. Nobody's not. It's just whether you choose to embrace that or not. If you don't embrace it, well, then you might be like I was 20 or so years ago when I used to live a life as a degenerate. I was a big old degenerate because I wasn't aware of the law or the love inherent within life. And so I was living a degenerative lifestyle. As many of you have heard me talk about it before, a degenerate lifestyle means that you're ignorant. You're ignoring things, and you're living primarily from your ego or your personality, and you're allowing yourself to be associated with your name, with your age, maybe with your race, maybe with your religion, maybe with your gender, and most irritatingly, to be associated with your trauma body. Your trauma will bring about the things that aggravate and create degenerative living. And degenerative living will, the telltale signs of degenerative living will be blaming and shaming people, having excuses and coming up for reasons why things can't happen. Other signs of degenerative living as you get older will be signs of cynicism and pessimism. And so those are some signs that we want to be keenly aware of, that we do not want to participate. We don't want to be a degenerate. We want to move through the evolutionary scale of going from being a degenerate to being a regenerate. We want to regenerate. In the regenerative aspects of life, we start to realize that we are divine emanations of God. But what does that mean? What does it mean to be a divine emanation of God? That is part of the path of wholeness. We're moving along, and that is a lifelong experience. And we move through that, and we're going to discover that there are things that are going to require healing. And healing takes place. All healing takes place from the experience of the truth setting us free, whether it's physical healing or emotional healing or mental healing, all healing, situational healing in relationships take place. But it takes place when you have a cognizant awareness that something needs to be healed. If you don't even know that something needs to be healed, then you might be participating again in degenerative living. And then, if you are participating in degenerative living, then oftentimes, because it's coded into the law of life, there are in the laws, the mechanisms that allow us to thrive, there's always something that's going to come along and want to wake you up. It's going to wake you up to who you are. So situationally, that could show up as discord. Physically, that could show up as pain or illness. It could show up as financial strife. Those are things that are indicators that we're on the degenerative path. And we want to be very mindful that we don't move into these aspects of coming up with justifications. If you're justifying anything, then you might want to just, the little alarm ought to go off to tell you, because justifications and excuses kind of vibrate in a field that allow you to not experience your good. And so we want to move from being a degenerate into being a regenerate and then a be-generate. When you're a be-generate, because we are generative beings. We are here to create. We are here to fulfill that which you might call our purpose or our destiny or our soul's desire. And intention, as we know intention in our community, an intention is in complete alignment with your soul's call, with the law of emergence, which that is seeking to emerge through you and express into the world. So it's a little bit different than a goal. A goal might be more associated or tied to the ego. An intention, as we're defining it, because we remember that everything that you experience is going to be an experience that you have from the definition you give to it. So however you have something defined is how it's going to experience itself through you. So we're very clear that an intention, when somebody says, what is your intention? What is the prayer request within? That's something that we sit with and we find out what is seeking to emerge through me, express through me, and what is it that and then I'm going to align my choice with that divine desire. And then we've got a fully orbed intention. So my intention is to whatever it is. If you feel, if there's a call inside of you to be a writer, if there's a call inside of you to teach a particular class, there's a call inside of you, you align with that call and it becomes your intention. And we want to pay undivided attention to an undivided intention. And intention becomes divided when fear infiltrates our awareness and starts to bring us into places where we have excuses or justifications. We start to listen to the world of effects. And as you remember, as I was saying last week, that the world of effects, we influence the world of effects. The world of effects should not be influencing us. What we seek, we're not going to get what we seek from the world. We're going to get from the world what we seek. And so we want to make sure that we're cognizant and that we're deliberate with that and that we allow our intention to be undivided. And so if you see that most profoundly with a lot of really successful, and I put it in quotes, people, like, maybe your Bill Gates of the world and other very successful people. And I do the quotes because true success would mean that you are in harmony with the laws of love and the laws of life to such a degree that there is no harm to anyone or anything through your choices. Now that might seem like, oh my God, I might want to justify that and say, that's impossible. How could I make a choice that isn't going to harm anything or anyone? Well, it's simple. If you make your choice from love, from the truth, from your soul, from providence, then you won't hurt or harm anything or anyone. If you allow fear to infiltrate your choices and your decisions, then you're going to start making choices that are going to probably come and give you a cosmic kick in the keister, and you're going to have to then move back from being a be-generate into being a regenerate, and the regenerate part of our beingness is where we start to clean things up. We have to heal those things. So wherever I've made an erroneous choice, a wrong choice, that has been out of harmony or out of integrity with the law of truth and love, with the law of your soul, we want to be so undistracted. We want to have undivided attention and intention by the call of our soul. That you listen to then the synchronicities and the serendipities just happen. A be-generate, all of a sudden, it's kind of in Reverend Michael's 4 stages of evolution. When you're in the be-generate stage, you're in the as-me stage of living. And the as-me stage of living means that your desire and the answer to the desire meet in the field at almost the same time. You don't even have to think. You don't even have to commune. You won't even have to go meditate and commune and say, what is the call of my soul? Because you'll already be in it. You will be in it. They will be one within your beingness. And then you just walk in the world, but not of the world. As Jesus, the master teacher, would say. That is what we are cultivating in our lives. And we are transmuting our justifications and our excuses so that we may be one with that. But a lot of people, they don't even know that they have justifications. They don't even know that they have excuses. Some of our excuses are so subtle. They're so subtly woven into the fabric of who we are. Like, things like, like right now, if you were to say, if you were living in the world, but not of the world, and you knew that the Spirit of God, through you, as you, for you, was upon you wherever you go, you wouldn't have to lock your doors when you left your house. You wouldn't have to have an alarm. You wouldn't have to have security cameras, because you would be so filled with the Holy Spirit of pure light that nothing is going to violate you. So right now, the very subtle thing was like, well, no, you can't not have an alarm. You can't not lock your doors. Somebody might break in and steal your things and violate you. But there is no violation. There is nothing that works against you in the realm of the divine. And that's what we're bringing forward. So we want to be very conscious of how we're working with this. We don't want to be foolish. To be foolish would be to try to step into something before you're ready for it. You want to be ready. You want to know where you are in your consciousness. You want to know that, like, oh, right now I'm practicing degenerative living because I'm justifying through fear why I can't have something. Maybe that will show up like a client of mine. He was going through a financial challenge. It was so bad that he was borrowing money to pay bills. And so you can see how that is a recipe for disaster, because it's eventually going to catch up with you and you're going to run out. And so, we know that in order to be prosperous, truly prosperous financially, because we also know that true prosperity is wellness, it's goodness, it's harmony, it's reverence and respect, it's kindness and generosity. All of that is what true prosperity is. And so when we're practicing prosperity as in financial freedom, then we zero in and we want to practice and participate in the law of circulation. And so we had to start diving into the law of circulation, and the law of circulation stipulates that you, if you really want to experience true financial freedom, remembering that money is just an energy. It's an energy that circulates. It's a means to an end, and it also is not outside of the veil or the constructs of law or love or the divine. It is right in there. And so if we're participating in the highest vibrational field of circulation, tithing is one of those aspects. Tithing is where you're giving 1/10 of your gross income, according to Edwin Gaines, to where you are spiritually fed. So that was one of the principles that we were looking at as he was going through that. He said, oh no, well I couldn't do that. How could I pay 10% when I owe all these bills? What am I going to do? Well, the idea is in tithing, as opposed to donating or being generous where I'm going to just leave a nice big tip. That's really wonderful, and the law of attraction will take care of that, because what goes around comes around. So if you're circulating generosity, generosity comes back. But tithing is associated with a vibrational field of the divine. You're actually bringing money into a field of the divine. There's no higher vibration than the field of the divine. So you're literally bringing that energy into the field of the divine. Can everybody hear me if I turn this down? There we go. So we were exploring those things. We were exploring generosity. We were exploring that there are constructs of the mind through fear, the filters of fear that are keeping him constricted in this phase. And we're saying, okay, and so there's these justifications or excuses as to why I can't participate in that. And I said, okay, and I don't want you to be foolish about it. We're not going to just, so some places would say, you just tithe, you tithe 10%, and it's a shaming into tithing. And it's like, no, we want you to participate at a spiritual vibration where you're allowing yourself to be in. Like, let me explore this. Let me explore what it means to tithe from a spiritual perspective, not from a have-to perspective, where it's like, because some people, if it filters through the ego, they're like, well, if I tithe $500, then I guess that means I'm going to earn $5,000 because I'm supposed to get back 10 times as much. And it's like, well, that's interesting, and that is actually part of how it works, but that shouldn't be what pulls you or drives you. What should pull you or drive you is that you want to experience the anointing, the touch of the divine that comes through you, through your finances. And so in this case, we had to sit down and we're like, okay, let's look at it and let's play. You have to remember, play and pray are on the same vibrational frequency. And so when we play, when we allow ourselves to be in the innocence of a child, we're elevating our vibrational frequency into that prayer field. And prayer is the portal between the realm of the material or the finite to the infinite and the eternal. And so when we move into meditation and we commune with Spirit, and when we move into prayer, which elevates us, and we allow ourselves to be inspired, I want to know what it's like to experience financial freedom. I want to know what it's like. And so then we start to align with our undivided intention. And then we have to be aware that there are laws that govern the universe, and there are transitory laws that vibrate higher. And, remembering that earthly laws, like man-made laws, they're there to kind of mimic divine law. But they do a pretty bad job most of the time, because a lot of times, with earthly law, we're involved with punishment. There's no punishment in spirit. There's no, despite any misinterpretations of the Bible where, oh, there's this punishing God. No, all of those references that could come across as punishing are just about consequences. When you go against love, you're moving into separation. You're moving away from the divine. When you're moving in love, you're moving into wholeness and oneness, and you're moving towards the divine. So how can I move with an undivided intention towards the wholeness of the spirit as money, as wellness? What is my intention with regards to finances? What is my intention with regards to my career? What is my intention with regards to romance? What is my intention with regards to my purpose? What is my intention with regards to my wellness? What is my intention? We want to ask that question of our own beingness. And we want to be able to be still and know that I am. We want to be still to the degree that we hear the still small voice within our own beingness that alerts us to what is the desire of my heart associated with the law of emergence, that which is seeking to emerge through you into the world. And whatever that is, because, I remember talking to a friend of mine years ago, and she was like, oh, I don't know if I want to surrender to my soul. I don't want to surrender to God, because what if it's like stuff that I don't want to do and I don't like? And say, well, that's impossible. Now, your ego might not like some of the healing that has to take place in order for that to happen, but if you choose to heal through love and through joy and through grace and through beauty, and if you invite, evoke, and allow the holy presence of the divine to be with you, that is the whole point of healing. Healing is not to get something to stop. I just need this financial despair to stop. I need this pain to stop. And it's like, okay, well, if you really want it to stop, then we have to open up and we have to unburden ourselves. We have to come before the altar of the Almighty and unburden ourselves and open to the energy of your soul. Your soul has everything it needs. It has every answer to every question to live in full and radiant wholeness and goodness, should you choose to listen. We want to choose to listen to the call of our soul and be paying undivided attention to the undivided intention of our soul. This is where you create your own luck. We don't just say, oh, because the ego is going to say something like, well, I guess we really lucked out in this economy because this economy is like really tight right now. We all know that plenty of people make great money during a bad economy. It's when the collective consciousness decides to all agree on something that you'll see something outpictured in the collective as the economy or whatever it is, in the political systems, whatever it is. And we remember that things like politics, there are no parties in God. There's no Democratic Party in God. There's no Republican Party in God. There's no independence. There's only the truth that sets us free. And so when we start to justify things, and when we start to, one of those aspects of our personality is sometimes we identify with our political party. Well, in spirituality, there's no identification with a political party. There's only identification with the truth that shall set you free. Now, if you allow inspiration to motivate you, inspiration and enthusiasm should be the only things that motivate you. Fear should never be what motivates you. If fear motivates you, you're 9 times out of 10 going to make the wrong choice, and you're going to end up with a skinned knee or a stubbed toe, and it's not fun, and I'm all about fun. You know that I like to have fun. That's why we do these things in our spiritual community. We have gatherings where we come together and commune in spirit. We go on nature meditation retreats because we give ourselves room to breathe. And so that's what we're going to do right now as we turn within into prayer. We're going to turn within to prayer. And I'm just going to invite you once again just to bring your hands over your heart center. And as your hands rest on your heart center, I just want you to become aware of an undivided intention or the call of your soul. You don't have to effort, you don't have to search, you don't have to try. We're just going to ask the question, what is it that my soul is seeking to experience and to express? What is it that my soul, what quality, what energy, what divine aspect is my soul seeking to experience or to express? And as we open to that, we open to an energy of the strength and the grace and the beauty of the Holy Spirit of God. We take a moment as we move into the prayer field and we allow ourselves to be generous, that we create from the beginning, the absolute beginning. In the beginning is the light, in the beginning is the truth. So we turn within and we commune with that impulse, that which is seeking to emerge. And we commune in a field of infinite potential and benevolent possibility, for this is the very nature of the divine of God, that which birthed the galaxies, that illuminates the stars, that erupts a volcano, that flows a river, that crashes a wave, that blooms a flower, that beats our hearts. We turn to that power, that presence, that is our power and our presence within us, knowing that as we are born in the very image, the very likeness of the divine, that we have within us that co-creative magnificence that starts in the beginning, that allows us to feel the glowing, flowing light of spirit as our own beingness, knowing we have said yes to a greater and grander vision and version of our lives than ever before, that we have said yes to more good and more joy and more love and more prosperity, for it is our birthright. It is our birthright. It is the mandate. It is the mandate of God, of the kingdom of heaven, that we are to thrive. This is the very nature of life. It is the very nature of who we are. And we are choosing this day to get out of our own way. We get out of our own way, and we allow ourselves to thrive in this holy light by choosing to. We choose to. We bathe in this energy, and we bathe in a field of gratitude. A field of gratitude that knows that it is God's good pleasure to bring forward the kingdom of heaven to, through, and as our lives. And it is our job to be in a place of divine receptivity, that we receive our good, that we are comfortable at receiving our good through our physical, emotional, mental bodies and our bodies of affairs. We allow the win-win, mutual magnificence to express itself in every way, shape, and form. Good to greater good, glory to greater glory. We accept it and we allow it all to be, claiming it so by saying, and so it is. Amen. 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 Aho. Shalom. Hotep. And hallelujah. Let there be light. And I believe it's time for the ushers.